Is Jalen Coker actually good? Well, he was undrafted out of Holy Cross. He made the Panthers practice squad. Didn't really do much, didn't play at all really for the first couple weeks of the season. In week 4, he had 3 snaps, but then in week 5 and on, he's really shown some flashes. Well, we're going to take a look at his profile, his usage, his advanced stats, and then break down what we've seen from him on film to think about what his strengths and weaknesses are, how he's best used, and just what his ceiling might be at the NFL level. And so, like I said, Jalen Coker was undrafted out of Holy Cross. He wasn't ever really a big name as a wide receiver. When we take a look at his size, he's 6'1", 208 pounds. So that's somebody that, based on the frame, could definitely be an X wide receiver, depending on their athleticism. Absolutely somebody that could be a big slot. As far as a flanker, potentially, once again, contingent on the athleticism. But let's look at the athleticism. He ran a 4.57 40-yard dash, which is 42nd percentile in and of itself. So that is below average. But once again, he's not this tiny wide receiver either. He's 6'1", 208 pounds. So when you size adjust the speed, that gives him a speed score of 95.4, which is 58th percentile. So that is above average. So relatively speaking, he's not a fast guy per se by NFL standards, but for his size, he is above average. But the burst score and the catch radius are where we should really be excited. His 136.3 burst score is 98th percentile, and his catch radius of 10.42 is also 98th percentile. So this guy is a big target who has a good amount of burst. He's very good. He has a very good vertical jump particularly. And so this body style in terms of being 6'1", 208 pounds, while being pretty slow in general, not necessarily for his size, but overall, with a very good burst score, that's somebody that, in my opinion, and you'll see with the usage, is best used as a big slot. And so when we take a look at his utilization, he is a big slot. He runs 70.8% of his routes from the slot, while only running 29.2% out wide. I think based on his athleticism and what you'll see on film that it's a good move. So I broke down from weeks 4 to 10 and week 15. These are the only games in which Jalen Coker played. And wide receivers with at least 20 targets, and that was a total of 94. In this time span, Coker ran 134 total routes, which is 91.8% of the team routes. We love the route participation here. Looking at his yards per out run among this sample size, his 2.06 is tied for 25th. So considering there are 94 receivers in this sample size, that's pretty good. His PFF receiving grade of 76.3 is 24th. Pretty good too. His yak per reception, though, of 7.4 is 6th. I think that is slightly aided by an 83-yard touchdown he had in week 15, but you'll see on film that he is a pretty good yards after catch guy. Looking at his missed tackles forced, his 4 are tied for 22nd, not bad by any means. His 3 contested catches are tied for 45th, nothing special there. And looking at his usage, he hasn't necessarily been a dominant wide receiver in terms of his target share. His 32 targets are tied for 54th, his 21 receptions are tied for 47th. However, his 373 receiving yards are 28th, so pretty good there, and his 2 touchdowns tied for 30th. When we take a look at his utilization, his yards per target of 11.7 is 4th in the NFL, and his 17.8 yards per reception is 6th. I do think this is slightly boosted in terms of the yards per reception by him not having a ton of overall volume and happening to have that 83-yard touchdown. But the yards per target is the yards per target, and so he's definitely getting some vertical shots down the field. And so we see that being 6'1", 208 pounds, with a pretty slow 40-yard dash by NFL standards, that 4.57, but with really good burst and decent size-adjusted speed, and his utilization of 70.8% of his routes from the slot, that he is a big slot. But how good is he as a big slot? And how does he perform when he's not in the slot? Let's take a look at the film. Taking a look at Coker's first target, he's going to start out here in the slot. He is going to be running a deep out. You're going to get a vertical route down the field by the outside receiver, and then after blocking initially, the tight end's going to come out to the flat. You are going to get straight man cover 2 from the Bears, so man coverage throughout with 2 deep half safeties. On this play, Jalen Coker wants to have outside leverage on this route. He wants to make sure that the slot cornerback Kyler Gordon takes the inside. And so what he's going to do is initially he's going to step to the inside to get him thinking it's possibly a slant before breaking right outside and getting the leverage he wants. You're going to see a really nice cut. Now, on this play, the cornerback does trip, so it's not quite as impressive as it could have been if, he was in tight coverage when the catch is made. But also, make note of the contact balance and tackle breaking ability after the catch here. So notice how he's taking the inside right here, then steps outside and gets the exact leverage that he wants, then cuts. Stevenson does fall once again, but look at the broken tackle, and then fights upfield for extra yards after catch. Very, very impressive yards after catch ability. And I really like the precision of the route to make sure that he gets the leverage that he wants. You can tell just off of that he's a really intelligent player and knows exactly what he wants from the route. And yeah, good yards after catch ability too. All right, so on the second play, Jalen Coker is going to be lined up right here. So the receiver in the front is going to run a short little stab route. Coker is going to run underneath, and JT Sanders is as well. So you have a mesh concept right here. So on this play, there's nothing special per se in terms of his athleticism or route running, but I want you to pay attention to the catch away from his frame. So as far as the Bears are concerned, they're going to be in quarters coverage or cover 4. So you're going to have 4 deep quarter players, and then you're going to have underneath coverage right here. So once again, nothing special on the route, but pay attention to the hands right here. All right, and so he's open right here. He's going to be covered by the linebacker. Look at the catch away from his frame. Look at that. Solid catch. Gets around the linebacker, squeezes out the extra little bit of yards after catch. So on both catches that we've seen so far, he's gotten at least 5 yards after the catch on each one. And so that is good to see, especially considering he's not a super athlete. But yeah, good catch away from his body. Solid yards after catch. Fast enough to beat the linebacker to the edge of the defense. So good stuff overall. Taking a look at his third target, Coker's in the slot once again. He is going to be running what's called a bang 8. Now, as far as the Broncos are concerned, you would think that they're in cover 2 man by the look here, but it's really going to be cover 2. They're somewhat going to match. So each guy on this side of the field is going to act in man coverage. However, the linebacker here that is supposed to be on Coker isn't going to match Coker. He's going to fall back. He's going to try his best, but he's just no match in coverage for Coker. And then Pat Surtain's going to be in the flat on this side. And so on this play, I want you to note the feel for where he needs to make his cut. He's going to perfectly run right behind the linebacker and make another nice away from the frame catch. So notice the feel. He's going to go right behind him, find the hole in the zone coverage, catch away from his frame. He does end up dropping the ball, but he was down, so it was ruled a catch. But this is the second time in 3 catches now that we've seen it away from the body catch, and so that's really good to see. He appears to have a really good feel for the soft spots in zone coverage. Like I said, he's not a super athlete, but he, based on the way in which he's running his routes, seems really intelligent. He has all of the technical skills down, and he has the away from the body catch ability that some players just don't have. A lot of people call those body catchers. So one thing you can absolutely say about him is he is not a body catcher. And so on this one, he's in the slot once again. He is going to be running a slot fade. The Broncos are going to be in cover 1 man, so you're going to have man coverage throughout here with a deep middle field safety. So this receiver is going to run a shallow route to keep this cornerback down, thus creating a lane for Bryce Young to potentially throw this ball into, based on the fact that there's only one middle field safety and there's no halves as if it was cover 2. And so on this play, it's not going to be complete. It is going to be intercepted, but it's not going to be Coker's fault whatsoever. On this play, I want you to make note of the pacing of the route and the way in which he runs his route so aggressively that creates a ton of separation, especially considering they're down here in the red zone. And so there isn't an expansive amount of the field for him to work with. So real quick, pay attention to how he is going to attack the cornerback without giving him any idea where he's going. He's going to run full speed at him and then suddenly cut to the outside, blow by him. And he has about, about a yard or give or take of separation, which, given how much space he's giving Bryce to this side of the field, should be plenty. However, Bryce Young is going to throw this short, and so it's going to end up being intercepted. Wasn't really much for Coker to do there. But pay attention to how aggressively he runs this route. It really is beautiful. It's a shame that the ball wasn't put in a place in which he could catch it. But as far as Coker's concerned, very good route. If you like what you're seeing and hearing so far, feel free to like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more player breakdowns where we take a look at their profiles, their usage, their advanced stats, and then break down what we see from them on film, just like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. All right, so we finally get a rep from the outside. He's going to be on the right side of your screen. He's going to be running a fade. This is the last play of the game against the Broncos. So this cornerback is going to be in a deep third. They're running a cover 3 match, so deep third. And then 21 here is going to be in a deep third as well with underneath coverage. Like I said, they're going to end up matching, so it's going to look like a cover 1 man, essentially. But pay attention here to the way he slow plays it off the line, so you have pacing. The way he's then going to burst forward to try to create some separation. And then the way in which he positions his body and shoves away the defender to make a perfect lane for Bryce Young to throw this ball. I'll show you what I mean. And so notice how he's going to hesitate and just slow play this off the line, then burst ahead, and then stop, shove the cornerback just a little bit to create that lane for Bryce Young, catch the ball, fall back, and he ends up scoring a touchdown. So once again, I love, especially at the beginning of his route, the way he slow plays it and then just bursts. Good body positioning, good catch, touchdown. And obviously we're going to show his 83-yard touchdown from week 15. So he's going to start out in the slot. He is going to be running a slot fade. You're going to get underneath action by Adam Thielen here. So as far as what the Cowboys were trying to do, it should be a cover 3 where you're going to have 3 deep third defenders here. It possibly could have been a cloud coverage where you have a flat defender here and then the safety is supposed to step up. However, nobody is going to stay with Jalen Coker, and so this is just going to be a walk-in touchdown. Nothing particularly crazy to see from the film here. It was a completely busted coverage, as you can see. But hey, it's cool. As a Coker owner in fantasy, I was ecstatic, obviously. I assume you were too. And so, yeah, I mean, hey, he took advantage of the busted coverage. What more do you want him to do? He can't help that, but what he can help is taking advantage of it. And he's fast enough to beat the safety. 83-yard touchdown. Good stuff. Now, it wouldn't be a fair evaluation if I didn't point out some things that he could either work on or just aren't the best. So on this rep, he starts out in the slot on this side. He's going to go in motion, and then he's going to run a fade route. So once he goes in motion to that side of the field, you are going to get man coverage here against Cordell Flott. So on this play, the get off the line of scrimmage, there's nothing really inspiring. But the real criticism here is he doesn't catch the ball through contact here. And so, and it was a perfectly catchable ball. He gets both hands on it. So the get off the line of scrimmage is fine. He gets enough separation. Very good body positioning, though. He gets both hands on it. Unfortunately for him, Flott is going to get one of his hands in the middle of both of them and break up the ball. But you would really like him to come down with that contested catch there. I mean, if a receiver is able to get both hands on the ball, as far as they're concerned, it should be a catch. And so, like I said, it's not like he just dropped a wide open slant for a touchdown or something. It was absolutely contested and good coverage by Cordell Flott. But you would really hope that he would come down with that. All right, so on this rep, he's going to be right here in the slot. He is going to be running an over. Xavier Legette down here is going to be running the shallow cross. So as far as the Giants are concerned, they're going to be in cover one man. So 22 here is going to be in straight up man coverage against him. And so on this play, he just doesn't come down with a ball that he quite honestly just should. It is a little bit low, and so he would definitely have to fall down catching it, but you would really prefer that he catches this ball. So up to this point, he's doing everything great. He does have the positioning on the defender for this ball to be completed. It is a little bit low, as you're going to see, but he is just not going to come down with this, and he should. And so his away from the body catching, for the most part, has been pretty good. We did see in that contested catch situation a clip back, though, that he wasn't able to come down with it despite getting two hands on the ball. And we see here that he isn't able to come down with a ball that is a little bit low, but it's definitely a catchable ball by NFL wide receiver standards. And so what are we to think of Jalen Coker? Well, when we took a look at his profile, his size being 6'1", 208 pounds, that's somebody that theoretically, depending on their athleticism, could be an X for sure, maybe a flanker, but probably a big slot. We saw based on his athleticism, his 4.57 40-yard dash, that's somebody that is probably going to be better used as a big slot, but depending on how skilled he is as a receiver, could potentially be an X. And then we saw that he was used 70.8% of the time from the slot. And so he's definitely somebody that's a big slot. Think Rashee Rice, for instance. And so as far as what we saw from him on film, we saw that he was really good at pacing his routes, attacking the leverage, creating the leverage in which he wants, body positioning, away from his frame catching, especially when it's high. What were some weaknesses? Well, like I said, he's not that fast and quick per se. He did struggle to catch that fade route in the end zone through contact. He had both hands on the ball. We saw that on that ball that was a little bit low, he wasn't able to go down and corral it. And so he isn't the most athletic wide receiver, which does limit his maximum ceiling. But in terms of his intelligence and his craft as a receiver, I think he is really intelligent. I think he has a lot of the fundamentals that you want out of a wide receiver. I do think his physical limitations are going to prevent him from being a superstar wide receiver. But as far as being a big slot, I think he absolutely has the skills necessary to be one of the better big slots in the NFL. When we took a look at some of his advanced stats, his 2.06 yards per out run among the 94 wide receivers in that sample size was tied for 25th. And so that's pretty good. His PFF receiving grade of 76.3 was 24th. We like that. His yak per reception of 7.4 is 6th. I do want to mention, though, that there was that 83-yard busted coverage touchdown, which is going to skew that number. But we saw that he also broke tackles after the catch, and he was fast enough to evade that linebacker. So there were plenty of pros. And so like I said, as far as his potential ceiling, I think he could be one of the better slot receivers if he continues to work on his craft, work on his hands consistency, especially down low and at the catch point, evidently. Although that was just one target with Cordell Flott having pretty good coverage. But yeah, I think that he is a talented wide receiver. I don't think he should have been undrafted. I do think he has his physical limitations, but I do think that he has the potential to be one of the better slot receivers in the NFL over time. But what do you think? Do you think I'm wrong about his limitations? Do you think he could be more? Do you agree? Do you think that he's not even quite as good as I think? Let me know below in the comment section and let me know why. And if you want to see me break down more players like this, look at their profiles, their usage, their advanced stats, and what we see from them on film, just like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And if there's anybody else that you want to see covered in a video, let me know below in the comment section. Thanks.